Hey, in this movement and mobility routine, we are going to be working on the hand and the elbow region. And a take-home point, though, is that the shoulder and the middle back area, what the shoulder blades are doing, and the position of your head and neck are really important for what happens here and down through here. Now, the hand is very complex. So there's over 25 bones in the hand, there's 30 muscles, and we're going to be targeting some of those individual tendons, and we're also going to just be working in general on the flexibility and mobility at the wrist. So let's get started. For this routine, you can either have a ball. If you're at the office, you can use a water bottle. It works great. Either one of those is good. What I want you to start with both hands, do 5 big circles each way. You might feel some clicking and popping. One wrist might feel slightly different. That's okay there. And just go at your own pace for these. I want it to feel good, and I want you to feel like your wrist and forearm area is loosened up afterwards. After you've done that, start with your right hand, bring the ball on top of the hand, and then just start rolling it all around, mainly the pad of the hand. So you're rolling the ball through this angle there. With this one, it's not about as much how much pressure you can give. It's more just about bringing some sensation and awareness to the hand and seeing how it feels. Now, in just a second, I want you to stop on the thumb side of the hand, and you're going to take your other hand over the top and then put some extra pressure into that as you roll back and forth. So we're working on this big, meaty area in the hand, and keep going here. And I want you just to work through those thumb muscles back and forth. The top hand is simply just applying pressure down. Now, once you find a point that feels pretty good and somewhat tender, curl your hands up and make a fist, and then relax away. We're gonna do 5 of those on and off. 4, one more. Good, relax and then switch hands. Shake that first one out if you need to. Again, just starting with getting familiar with rolling the ball all along the pad of the hand. In just a second, we'll start on the thumb side again. When you find that point on the thumb, take your other hand, go over the top, and add some extra pressure going back and forth. This should feel pretty good here. It's a pretty meaty area across the thumb, and it has really important functions. The whole purpose of the hand in general, or the whole is to, I mean, this is what makes us different than other species, really. It's how much dexterity in the opposition of the thumb. The purpose of the shoulder and the elbow and this whole apparatus up here is really just to position the hand for grabbing, reaching, eating, that sort of thing. And then we'll have 5 squeezes on this side too. So squeeze all the fingers together. You're not gripping the ball here. You're just maintaining that pressure on the thumb side. 3 more. 2. Last one. Good. And then roll it out, shake it out if you need to. Now we're going to go back to the right side and roll along the underside of the forearm here, all along those tendons, all the way up into the elbow. And this should feel pretty good. If you don't have the ball and you're doing the water bottle variation, you can go there. I like to keep the hand on top to add that extra pressure, but this feels really good here too. It feels almost the same as the ball. Just keep rolling back and forth. What you might find is certain areas feel a little bit more tender, or it feels like you maybe need to roll your hand over just a little bit. That's okay. After you've rolled back and forth for 15 to 20 seconds, pause over a spot that feels good, maintain pressure on top, and then just roll your wrist back and forth. Don't go to the point where the bones move. So you might feel that pressure move onto the bone underneath the water bottle. Just roll back and forth as if you were unlocking or untwisting a door handle. Let's go 3 more. 2. Last one, and then switch sides. I'm gonna go back to the ball, just a little bit softer. And what I mean by softer is harder is not always better, because there's a lot of important structures that go through, the carpal tunnel runs through here. There's important nerves on the backside of the wrist. And I don't want you to experience any sort of nervy pain as you're doing this. Just keep rolling all the way up and down, finding those points that feel a little bit more tender. For some people, it might be more up at the elbow. For other people, it might be down into the middle forearm area. What I would say is don't do a ton of direct pressure right over here, because that can be somewhat irritating, especially if that area is getting compromised in some other ways. If you're typing a lot at work, or if your hands are always curled in. When you found that spot again, I'm going to put extra pressure and then just roll my hand back and forth. The motions of the wrist and the hand are so complex and so subtle that if you don't work on these, and if you, let's just say, if you don't use them after a while, you lose it. So that's how we're working on the muscle memory, retraining that brain to muscle connection of what it's like to move through the wrist. In just a second, let's go back to the first side. And now you're going to turn your hand up and put it along the backside of the forearm and elbow. So you go up to the elbow and then just roll it back and forth. Now for me, I even like to stand up on this one, and I'll get more over on the outside of it and then roll back and forth that way. Because it's very, for me, it's tender right through here. And again, just be cautious. I don't want any numbness or tingling. What I'm looking for with this movement is really just finding more muscular tension points, and that'll feel more like a sore muscle. Once you found that point that's tender, that feels good, a good tenderness, then put your hand down towards the floor and then curl it all the way back up. This one, you're splaying it open, trying to go fingers and then wrist curl. 3 more here. 2 more. Last one. Roll it out for another second, and then switch sides. After this, we just have 2 active movements without the ball. Again, I'm going to stand up because it gives me a little bit better leverage here. And you can even see as I hit certain parts, like it'll pull my fingers in, because that's just the connection of all these tendons through here run into the front and back side of the hand. And so as you compress those, it's semi-activating those really. Find a spot that feels good, and then go back, and then curl up. Back and curl. 2 more. Try to keep that point of pressure. Good, and then roll it out for 1 more second, and then you can put the ball or the water bottle to the side. Now, the final 2 movements here, one is going to be for the wrist and one of them is going to be for the upper body. So the first one for the wrist, you can do this on both sides. You're going to stand up and then lean forward to stretch the wrist. So each time I'm keeping the back of my hand on the table. So I go as far as I can before this raises up, but then I stop and then back away. So I'm leaning into it and then backing away. If it feels better to do one side at a time, that's okay. For the purpose of the video though, we're going to hit both sides at the same time. Each time I'm trying to let my fingers relax and let my palm almost just sink down into the movement. You may be getting some compression on the top side of the wrist, and hopefully you're getting some stretch across the backside here too. So not only does this work on the wrist joint, but it also works on the muscles and tendons. Whew. Again, shake it out, because these are compressive movements at the wrist. So if you need to move around afterwards, we're hitting new ranges of motion. So that's very normal and common. Last thing for this routine, and this is great if you're at the office, so much we end up here. So we're going to work on getting the shoulder blades involved, just pulling them back and then doing some circles. We'll go 5 circles each way. And I want you to start by shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears, then pull them back, down and around. Bringing them around the front side, up, back and around. 3 more here, up, back and around. 2 more. Last one. And then switch sides. So now I'm going down, back, up and around. And you'll see how, try not to use your elbow, try not to use your hands. You can see on the first view how much of a motor control or a muscle memory thing this is, as your hands might want to slide back and forth. So this is all the shoulder blades. Feeling each part of those to help loosen up the neck, loosen up the middle back, and then ultimately take stress off the forearm and wrist. 1 more here. All the way back and around. And then finally, just shake it out if you need to stretch it out, all different directions. I like to often do this one where I'll take my thumb in, make a fist, and then just curl back and forth, flossing that movement and the tendons that go across there. Whatever final movements you need to do for this mini movement and mobility routine. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully that helps your hand, wrist, forearm area, especially if you're someone who's working at the desk and at the office right now. So I'll see you next time.